Wicked. Wicked tones, you know.
So I reluctantly put up a Q&A thing on Instagram. I'm such a massive fan of getting the same question 50 different times in different versions of saying it. But, I'll just go through some of them. Slinbon 18 said elbow pain went away since I've been doing your tricep style. So it's not a question, but thanks. Understand, ask me anything, and it's a statement. State anything you want. This guy just killed it with 3 questions that make no sense. So shout out to geo_au. The first one is chest deeps technique. Okay, Roman chair technique. And then, can you work abs like any other muscle? Yes. Let's just end with that. So on a high note with you, GOAU. How many Nike pair of shorts do you own?
Oh boy.
We've been over this before. I only own one. I don't wash it. I don't clean it. I just wear them repetitively till they disintegrate, and then I'll buy another pair. No, I bought like 5 or I think I have 5 or 6 pairs, but they have some of them are getting little holes in them because my Pomeranian has an obsession with eating my pants, or eating anything that's left on the ground will be chewed by her. It doesn't matter whether it's like toxic or fucking, could be anything on the ground, she'll chew it. So some of them have taken a beating from her, but so far so good. Tips for rehabbing and working around bursitis injury to elbow. Do stuff that doesn't irritate the injury around your elbow. So try any of the tricep techniques we've showed where there's not like, you're not really rocking hard off the extension of the elbow. So you're causing that shearing effect or that kind of like over pressurized sensation of like tension in the elbow and flexing through the elbow. Just understand that it's more through what I show with like the overhead single arm, or even just basic cable press downs with a bar. It's just understanding that your tension points need to be basically in the meat of your tricep. If you want to think about it in the most basic term, keep tension with shoulder down, pressured down on elbow, but not like locked on elbow. So we're more in lat and shoulder rocking and then firing through. Basically, watch any tricep video that I've done, and you'll kind of get the gist of it. To re-explain it here is like, sometimes I wonder if people are watching videos. Like, I'm thankful for people watching videos, but I'm wondering if you're actually watching, or you're just like seeing what you want to see enough to like elicit some type of change. Like, I don't know, he's saying a lot of stuff, but he said that one thing about this, and that's all I'm gonna focus on. But like, you might have only focused on like the 3rd step of the progression. You're missing the first 2. So it's good, and it'll probably hopefully help you a bit, but it's like you have to start from like, what's the first cue? What's the second cue? There's a sequence to the cues, just like there's a sequence to the movement. You don't just do the rep and say, see how I did all that? See how I got here? And the person's like, no. It's like, where did I start? How did I move? Like, where's my chest? Where's my weight? Things we've talked about before, right? So go back and watch videos, but really watch them. This question came from a kid who comes here, so I won't say his name. But he says, is it really worth going on PEDs? That's not for me to tell you, right? Like, in my personal opinion, for me, yes, it's 100% worth it, and I'll never come off them, and I'll be on them the rest of my life, and I choose to live in as optimal as I can for me, considering what I'm doing now and the age I am and the fact that I'm not competing. I choose to live that way, right? So you being a younger kid, you know who I'm talking to, who you wrote it, but it's like, this person happens to be like a bigger kid, taller, holds muscle well, very young, probably like early years of college or just finished high school type thing. So it's like, it might not be the time for you to try it now just because you seem to be unsure about it. But as you progress with your lifting, it might get to the point where you're like, are you not seeing any more I'm really not seeing any more growth or evolvement in my physique, and that might be the time when you decide to do it, or you might not. But if you're that concerned about it and you're that worried about it, I would just stay the fuck away from it if I were you, or people like you, right? So unless you're just, if you're worried and concerned, that's a valid point. But if you also have in the back of your mind, oh, I'm kind of like leaning towards more doing it, well then get with someone who knows what they're talking about. Like get with, or start teaching yourself with like going on like Team Evil GSP, like the members site, or get with like someone you trust that's done it before that can guide you along and kind of tell you what to expect and pitfalls or things to look out for, just stuff like that. It's like, it's crazy to me that people have literally equated like getting on performance enhancement drugs or juice, whatever you want to call it. They've equated it now to like literally like, it's like you're taking up a heroin addiction. Like you really think that your health is going to suffer that greatly. Like you've just like, you know what, man, I've been thinking about like weed's not enough lately. I'm just really want to get into meth, or I want to get into fucking smoking heroin. Like it's like, it's not that serious, right? It's really not that serious. It's like the fact that people are having this much of a dilemma of like, should I use testosterone? It's like, it's already in your body, dude. It's already a naturally occurring like hormone in your body. You're just adding more of it. It's not like you're fucking, oh, like, hey man, you want to get big? You got to do acid every day, or you got to fucking smoke 30 packs of cigarettes. Like, people have no dilemma about like taking up smoking. They know the dangers. There's ads everywhere. There's like people they know in their life who have died from it or have gotten cancer, some type of sickness, emphysema, whatever, and people still smoke all the time. And people aren't like coming out being like, hey man, you fucking smoke? Or like, oh, you started drinking? You're fucking crazy. Did you do that under like a doctor's supervision? It's like, meanwhile, those two things kill more people in a year than steroids ever have. You know what I mean? It's just, it's madness to me, the amount of thought that goes into this, but yet these same people have no problem every weekend going out fucking popping a Molly or fucking downing a bottle of Grey Goose and fucking getting fucked off their face, right? Like, they have no problem with that, but then they're worried about, oh, I put testosterone in me, something that actually more than likely will help and enhance my body and my mood and my energy and my mental state. I'm scared of that, but I have no problem downing a 26 or a fucking Grey Goose every weekend. So yeah, just take it easy with all that. How to approach muscle imbalances. Well, assuming that you've identified them, because a lot of people really can't, they're not really good at identifying it. Half these people walk around thinking they have great balance and their physique is like this. One shoulder's this high, the other one's this high. And you see that with like I'm talking about like top rehab people, top trainers. Let him go here. Top trainers and all this stuff. It's like, I've worked with like some top trainers I've seen and top guys I've seen that are like mechanics experts or like chiropractors or whatever it might be. And they're talking to you about imbalances. Meanwhile, like I said, one shoulder's like this, one like this, or their hips shifted to here and they're walking like this. It's like, so they're aware, they're not even aware of the imbalances that they've created. So like, everyone's gonna have imbalances. There's never gonna be like a posture. What's up, man? You good? No one's gonna have like perfect physique all the time. There's always gonna be little imbalances. But I would say if you know the imbalance, then maybe work on some isolateral stuff. So you're working on that one side, or understanding how you're moving. Maybe when you're doing both arms, or you're doing like a lift where it's both feet, you're understanding where you're putting more weight, where you're shifting, how low your hip may be, how low your shoulders may be, where you may be locked down. Look in the mirror, see like when the press comes at me, does this right shoulder lift up? Does this left shoulder stay down, or is there some type of imbalance? Maybe cut the range of motion for now, or cut the weight, and try to work on really emphasizing the drive from the weaker side, right? Or like I said, just isolate one arm or one arm press and just try to like basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Try to focus on that imbalance and then bring it up, right? Through, this guy's going to cut us. But yeah. Well, here's a fucking great one from Jeep Shop with 2 P's and an E. Guidance on how to adjust positioning using machines designed for shorter people. I was unaware that there's machines that have been designed for like little people that are just in average gyms. Like, unless you're a fucking giant man and you're 7 feet tall, like all these machines will fit you. And there's a simple way to fix that. If the machine's too short for you, just fucking that. Put it up, put it down. It's like that question is so crazy, man. It's like literally like, did you not discover the pin that drops the seat, or like adjust the back pad if it's possible? Like, what gym are you working out at? Is it like in the jungle? It's like that jungle gym in like Dubai or whatever, where it's like chunks of wood you're lifting. How do I adjust this? Do the over-scienced people or the Instagram users at the gym annoy you more? Which one annoys you more? You know, science guys, it's an equal amount of annoying. I think they both mean well. I don't think people are like trying to fuck people over or purposely like misguide them. It's just like, the more you complicate something, especially something so simple as lifting, like you're not making yourself sound smarter, you're not making it more intriguing or more intricate or whatever all that stuff. Like I see these guys just going off and like they speak on the things that they speak on with such like so much intent behind it, like they just believe it so much, but like none of it's proven. Like you haven't proved that over like the course of like a 5-year, 2-year, 10-year study where like your methodology of training has caused this, relative to like if someone did the exact opposite of the training and took the same path, the same person, right? You're speaking in such absolutes. That's what bothers me about these guys, is that the science guys especially, you're speaking in absolutes and you rest on this thing called science. You say science, science, science. You see these fucking idiots in these fucking videos like that aren't scientists, and you know who you are when I'm talking to you. There's people with massive followings who just cite scientific journals and cite this and cite that. You didn't do the research. You didn't perform the study. You didn't get the grant or the funding for it. You didn't do shit. You're just regurgitating what was said. That's like me going on watching TSN right now or ESPN and regurgitating the stats. I hear, well, you know, the Jays in the month of August, they're usually sitting around 400 and their record is this, and like, you know, their on base percentage. It's like, you're just regurgitating shit, dude. You're not doing anything, and you're taking science, you're taking these little studies and these little whatevers, and you're plucking them out so that they fit perfectly into the box that you're creating. Meanwhile, there's all these other studies and all these other whatever journal articles that you could pull that could completely contradict what you're saying. But you're just picking and choosing, like you're just decorating your Christmas tree the way you want to decorate it, not understanding that there's a million ways to decorate the thing, right? So it's just, that's what bothers me about it. It's nothing to do with like, I love everybody's intensity and their love of lifting, things like that, but it's like, when it comes down to it, stop preaching like your way is the best and there's no other way. There's plenty of ways. And even you yourself, if you trained completely differently, you would probably elicit the same physique you have. If not, like degrees of it being good, better or worse would be like minimal. Would be nominal differences to see in your physique. But you adhere to a program, so like, everybody should adhere to that. This is the way to do it because it worked for me. It's like, it might not. Because I guarantee you the way those science guys lift, and I don't even like saying that, science guys, these guys who think that they're scientists but aren't scientists and don't do anything in terms of research on their own at all. It's like you're making people, the people that follow you who choose to like latch onto you, you're making them closed-minded. So they're literally like, they're going to become another version of you. And they're going to be so against any other viewpoint that they might miss out on something that really could help them, right? So it's like, it's a slippery slope, man, once you start telling people like your way is the only way, or this is the most optimal way, making up fake statistics in terms of like how much muscle is gained or how to design your program. It's like, meanwhile, if you look at the greatest bodybuilders of all time, and I'm talking like the greats, I'm not talking about the guys today. They will be great one day. Like I said, they're not great now. Being great implies that time has passed and you have stood the test of time, right? So it's like, you don't see these guys who are like talking about, oh, I did this deload phase and I did this and I did that. None of them. Not a single one. Like, to say that like, oh, these guys did that, but I know this and I'm smart and I've done this and this, I must know better than them. But then they'll come in the gym and they'll embarrass you when they take their shirt off or when they fucking get a pose against you, because they're just more developed. Even in their late 50s, some of these guys would embarrass you when they took their shirt off and pose, right? I can think of a guy off the top of my head, Henderson Thorne. Henderson looks better than 80% of the guys in this gym in terms of like lines, physique, symmetry, and he's well into his 50s. He might be even older than that. I don't know. I don't want to misage you, Henderson, so I'm sorry. But regardless, you're no spring chicken just like me, and you're in great shape and you look fantastic and you train the way you train. And I guarantee you, you're not looking at like what kind of cycle of training you're in. He just comes in and works and looks amazing, right? So when's the next apparel drop? October. There's going to be a 100% hoodie drop. So maybe there'll be a couple t-shirts just because I can't resist, but mostly all hoodies.
How do people not miss the drop?
Pay attention. If you follow me and like, I think that I post too much about it, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm being annoying about promoting it, but apparently I'm not promoting it enough because people are, oh, I just missed it, man. It's like, we led up to it for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And like, there's an email, sign up emails get blasted out to people when the thing drops, and it's just like, if you miss it, I'm sorry, I wish I could help you, but it's like, I gave you lots of notice, man. Yeah. Posing tips for beginners. Don't emulate guys that are 5 times the size of you and think that you're posing like them. Pose in a way that basically complements your physique right now. So you're not going to hit this monstrous front double. You're not going to hit this huge lat spread and it's all impressive and you like, boom, hit the shot and all this stuff. You're not. Just focus on getting very good at hitting the basic shots and go from there, right? The evolution of that posing will come up as your body evolves as well, right? More muscle comes on, the shot looks better, you feel things better in the shot. But right now, just like get comfortable in the basic shots and understand where your feet are, where you're set, and everything will evolve from there. No one's expecting guys who come out for their first show who are beginners to like be hitting these like complicated like side triceps and like transitioning and like rolling through things. Just know your mandatories, put together a pretty decent like posing routine that's like you feel comfortable with in terms of like your mobility and how you flow and things like that, and go from there and understand that you don't have to be the best from the beginning. That's the whole point of being a beginner, is inherently when you're a beginner, you're not good at something or you're not that talented yet, right? Because you're learning. So approach it like you would if you never played basketball before. You wouldn't be out there like dribbling through the legs 19 times, going behind the back, like Euro stepping and fucking like hop, skip, like toss, like you've been doing all this fancy shit. You'd just be like, set my feet, shoot the ball, grab the ball, dribble the ball. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd be focusing on getting those fundamentals down. Should be the same with bodybuilding. Just get your mandatories down and your front relaxed, and over time, you'll just relax and things will just happen, right? Any plan to make a monthly subscription exercise library on your website? Yes, but it's gonna take a lot of fucking time and a lot of fucking effort. I don't want it to be like this corny thing where people are basically just signed up for a month or signed up and paying whatever a month and getting regurgitated or like information they can get anywhere else, right? So trying to think of doing it in a way that makes it feel like the person paying is actually getting what they're worth, like getting what they're paying for, whether it's like randomized. My idea was like a randomized, I shouldn't say this on camera, but I don't give a fuck. Someone will steal it. Everybody steals everyone's shit. Like a randomized, basically like when you pull a slot machine, it'll be like a randomized thing. So like 6 exercises or whatever you design. I want 4 exercises, I want 3 exercises, I want whatever. They'll pop up at a randomized thing. So it's like chest fly, chest press, and dips, whatever the fuck it is, right? And then the sets and reps will be underneath. So it's like every day is this randomized thing, so you don't get in this habit of doing the same things over and over the time. And also there'll be like a stagnant program where it's like you can manually pick, like I like these things, these are the videos and the movements that go along with it. I'm creating my own, right? But I think the randomized thing will be fun for people just because it's basically it's making it different every day. So it's something that people can look forward to. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do today. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do today, and I'm sitting here right now. I'm supposed to train, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna look around and decide what I feel like doing and make it work for what I think in my head I wanna work on today. It's not like I come in here like, oh, I've got to do barbell rows today, or this back workout is useless. You know, it doesn't. But CrossFit is also like, there's standardized movements for CrossFit. I'm assuming, like obviously don't know shit about CrossFit. Those people are way too in shape for me to hang out with or talk to. But Yeah, it's like I'm just understanding they have like what, like a core movements of like maybe 10 things or something, or 6, I don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's just this randomized thing. Like, would you be bored every day if you went in and did muscle ups and did fucking snatch squats? That's all you ever did? So it's the same with bodybuilding. I'd be bored if every day I came in here and I did dumbbell, for chest I did dumbbell press, pec deck, and then I did a fucking barbell press. If I did that every day for the rest of my life, I'd be like, this is fucking boring. Not to mention, like, you're not really, the movement in bodybuilding and the movement that I preach to people is like, it carries over to all the lifts that you could do for that body part. So my back movement is like, it carries over to this machine, it carries over to that machine, it carries over to like a free weight dumbbell row. So it's like the movement is staying the same, we're just adding different stimuluses, right? Whereas like in CrossFit, the movements aren't all the same. A muscle up isn't the same movement as a clean or a clean and jerk or whatever the fuck it is, or squat. Like, so all that stuff, like, it's completely different movements from each thing to the next. They don't cross over. You know what I mean? So bodybuilding, it's like, yeah, we're gonna still train back today, but instead of last time we did this, and this, maybe we'll just reverse that order. And maybe we'll add in a superset or a drop set or or we'll triple set these 3 instead and get the workout done even quicker and more intense, right? So just add-ons and little things like that is how I'd want to structure the program, just so it's interesting for people. So they're not just like, oh, I went in today and I did 3 sets of 10 on this and this and that, and look how huge I am. Some guy just wrote drop set, question mark. Yes, that's the answer to that one. What's your weekly split days and set range? No fucking idea. Not a clue. My split could change just because I don't feel like training my back that day. I'll train shoulders. I have days that I'm going to do stuff, but some days I'm like, I don't want to do that today. Are you natty? Of course I'm natty. The fuck? Look at me. How long a rest between reps and sets is best? Well, your rest between reps, I don't think that really, it's an odd one, but between sets, I'm not a big advocate of long rest periods unless it's, like I've said before, you're moving a heavy load or you've done some type of like really demanding superset or drop set where you're like, I need this extra time to kind of recover, and maybe a little longer than I think. But if I'm just warming up and getting through it and going through the workout, I might rest a minute. Some stuff like arms or like smaller body parts, like 30 seconds, just because I'm focusing on pumping up that muscle. I'm not focusing on obliterating it. So I want to keep filling that muscle with air. Relax. I'm going to pump some more air. I want to pump some more air till I get to the point where I'm like, oh, and then I'm pulling back, right? Like I've said before. So my goal isn't to like pump up the balloon so fast that it bursts, and then I got to get a new balloon and then bursts. Like, it's like I just want to fill that maximally and then rock away from it, right? Move on to the next body part or the next exercise that might be hitting a different area of that muscle or that muscle group, right? So why is hamstring volume low compared to quad volume on your leg day videos? Because I think it's like a bias on my part. When I competed, my hamstrings took nothing for me to stimulate. Like, I didn't need to like overwork my hamstrings, and I found that I got a lot of hamstring work with the depth that I would go on all my leg movements. So this crazy notion that people have that like when you're training legs as a whole, like I'm doing a compound movement for legs, it's hack squat, leg press, squat, whatever the fuck it could be. This concept that you're only working quads, like, you guys really don't understand anatomy or have any comprehension of how the leg fucking functions. It's like, it's not quad. The only thing that's all quad when you're doing it in this gym is leg extension. And even that, you're probably engaging hamstring, engaging glute, and like locking down an ab and firing out. So there's some type of like neurological functioning happening elsewhere than the quad, right? But that's the most isolatory in the sense that like I'm pushing on my shin and I'm squeezing my quads out, right? So it's like, I focus on getting blood in the hamstring, getting blood in the glutes, filling the inner thigh, getting the leg overall warm. So to allow that facilitation of depth on every press that we're doing, right? On everything we're doing, like maximal depth for that movement. Doesn't mean that like just like bottom out. It's just like understanding that once we break parallel or 90, and we start dipping below that line, more and more glute and hamstring are gonna fire to bring us up to that line again, to really fire out through quad. Quad's gonna get stretched, hamstring and hamstring and hip are gonna dip. We're gonna fire out of that hole. Almost like an elastic band being pulled over. Like if this is 90, I'm pulling an elastic band down here, like this is my hip and my hamstring, and I'm rocking up through to where there's no tension. So this is my knee hinging here. My hamstring and glute are pulling down with this tension. I'm sitting my ass and then driving out. So that elicit of that stretch pulling down, those hips sinking and pulling, is gonna fire glute and hamstring. You have to be like literally, you have to not have a hamstring and a glute. And you wouldn't even be able to get out of that position if you didn't, to not hit them, right? So that's why it's a focus more on getting blood in the muscle. And a lot of the times the people I train who might have hamstring issues or development issues in hamstrings, after I'm done with them, the overall work of the workout, I'll tell them to go and do 5, 6, 8 sets of hamstring curls or single leg curls, just to really get the hamstring firing now that all this blood is in the leg, like really focus on isolating that hamstring, right? But that's not stuff you need to do with me. I'm not there for that, right? All these people I train, majority of them, understand how to fucking work their hamstring out. It's not rocket science, right? So if you need me to stand there where I do a leg curl, past like showing you how to do it properly, you got more problems than, like, you know what I mean? It's the understanding that people that I train have some concept of what's going on with their body and like how to elicit contraction in different areas. I understand it's just like the more depth I get, the more I get whole leg development. That's the overarching theme, is like the more depth I get, the more I recruit muscle fiber in every area of my leg. My ass is not dormant at the bottom of a squat. You guys that think it is, it's like, well, it's just, I feel it more in my quad. So fucking course you do. Look how big your quad is as a muscle group. And look how big your hamstring is. And like, look how small your glute is compared to both. Whatever the dominant muscle group is gonna take over, but it doesn't mean that the subdominant ones aren't firing as well. You can't just work your glute, guys and girls. Other than these stupid fucking, which is gonna, the results after that plateau so fast because you can't keep adding resistance. Your resistance will max out and then you'll just be like getting better at being average. Just, I'm getting better at doing average stuff. I'm just really good at lifting my leg out. Your body's like, why are we doing this? After a while, why the fuck are we doing this? This is like walking to me now. It's nothing, right?